All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to America's favorite quality of life improvement podcast. It is time for the Caliber Corner. Happy holidays, season 5, episode number 262. Gun chat, firearms that matter the most to us and those we want to own. So I'm wearing my elfenflage this morning, and I'm using it to match the holiday decor that we have here in the studio today. So we'll go ahead and just fire things up and get started. We're just talking about those firearms that matter the most to us. And you can say, well, it's the gun you carry, but we're talking sentimental firearms, firearms that maybe you've inherited, or firearms that the family shares, or maybe that first gun that you received when you were younger. And so that's the idea for today. So we're going to do that. We'll let the panel introduce themselves. Let's give a shout out on the YouTube side. I always forget to do that. So let's do that first, and then we'll get things started. By the way, we will have an episode next Saturday morning at 8 a.m. on New Year's Eve. I probably won't be doing a New Year's Eve evening episode, but in the morning we'll have one. We're going to look at new guns coming out in 2023. Definitely going to be firearms that you're going to see at SHOT Show this year. So we will be talking about that next Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Today we've only got about an hour, so we're going to get things going. So shout out to Tacos and French Fries, Tony York, Adam One's out there. Let's see, Sam of Anarchy 92, Ozzy Orsborn, John Z, Mo EDC in the house. Mike is out there today watching. M. Gabriel's out there watching. A lot of chat going on this morning. Tommy Guns checking things out. He says it is 16 degrees below 0 Celsius. Tommy, I'm an American. I have no concept of the metric system other than a liter, and that's just from buying soda. So if you get a chance, I need you to translate that to Fahrenheit for me, bud. Let's see here. Who else is out there? Squibload's out there and over here. I'm out there apparently and over here. Mount View's watching, and let's go and let the panel introduce themselves. Squibload, you're on point, buddy. How's your morning going? You ready for the holidays or what? You got everything all set to go? You got your elfenflage on?
Yeah, I'm not quite as festive as you this morning, but yeah, we're ready.
Mm-hmm. There you go. It's going to be a Taurus Christmas. It's going to be a Taurus Christmas this year in the Squibload house.
That's what I heard.
Oh, I better shut up. All right, and then also joining in is Single Shot. Single Shot, how's it going this morning, bro?
Oh, she's going about 13 above, and sun's trying to poke out there. We got a lot of high winds and a lot of rain yesterday. So,
and I thought we had some weird weather. You said you went from 40 or 50 degrees of hard rain down to 13 this morning. Oh,
50, God, dude. 50 degrees and hard rain yesterday, down to 13 this morning.
Yeah. Oh, my gosh.
Unbelievable.
So everything, all that stuff just froze. Now everything's just coated in ice, basically, is what you're telling me, right?
Yeah, that's about it, too. It's cold
well,
up
you
there.
Stay warm. Another Yule log on the fire and get your eggnog ready to go, because it's gonna be a long weekend. I got a feeling.
Yes, sir. I don't go back to work until after January 3rd, I think.
You too.
Is when
Sweet.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I get some time to. I've started the process on cleaning some of those guns, and boy, I'm telling you,
you got a lot of work.
What a mess.
So you're currently looking for sponsorship right now from Hoppies or Aegis Gun Care or
that would be nice.
Safari Land Break Fury. You get a couple cases of CLP, and it's gonna get a barrel of it and just dunk the gun in CLP.
Yeah.
Oh man. Well, hey, you got a hobby for the weekend you get to work on, so that'll keep you busy.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, cool, man.
Yep.
Good. Appreciate having you here.
Hello to everybody in the chat. Hope everybody has a fantastic holiday.
We will. You too, man. It's going to be a good time. It's going to be a fun episode, I think. So it's going to be a good chat. A lot of people are already sharing out in the chat side on the YouTube side, so that's cool. All right, and last but certainly not least, my neighbor, Defense Dad. What's going on, man? How's it going?
Oh, not too bad. Got up and got my food prep done for Christmas Eve dinner and figured I'd join.
You're very chipper and awake this morning. You're usually not just. Are you excited for Christmas? Is that what it? Did you buy something nice for yourself this year?
I did not. But I've been up since 7 getting stuff ready to go in the crock pot. So
there you go. I wrapped a lot of presents this year. I am awful. It's funny. I can take apart and reassemble the most intricate firearm if I had to, but you make me wrap presents. I am horrible. I do what's called artisan craft wrapping. It's where it's very unsymmetrical and but it's covered. It's all, done by hand. It's all sustainably harvested wrapping paper, but it's just, yeah. Anywho. Fun stuff in my house too. But to Defense Dad, tell us about the channel. Are you gonna be putting some new videos up? You said you're maybe thinking about taking a different path with that, or you want to give us a little insight in that before we start up, or do you want to wait?
Oh, I'm gonna start back up after the first of the year.
Cool.
I'll still do some reviews, but I'm gonna kind of be doing. I want to kind of do a little more like, not documentary, but more like short film stuff, but still touching on 2A topics.
Oh, that's cool. I think it'd be a neat angle because there are a lot of us, myself included, that do reviews. You know, do gun reviews, we do range tests, but it's neat to get kind of a different side of things. And some of my favorite videos I've been watching lately are just like, the factory tours or like the history of this firearm, or, kind of getting into the other side of it now instead of just what am I going to buy next? It's kind of refreshing to have some change of content. I think that's a good thing. So yeah.
Plus, if I'm being honest, it's damned expensive to keep buying guns every month.
Oh, I know, right? I know. If I didn't have my connection with SS Spawn back in the day, we probably wouldn't be having this conversation right now. So
I've got a good collection at least.
There you go. This is true, and we put a lot of positive peer pressure on each other in this community to buy things. So it's
we do.
Bad. We're all paying it off this year. We're all like, "What's that credit card bill again?" I don't even want to look.
Still got a couple on the wish list, but
oh, don't we all? Got to get me a new lever gun at some point. It's going to happen. So I might just break down and get, maybe a 44 mag or 357 lever gun instead of 30-30 that I'm waiting for Ruger Marlin to produce, which they're probably going to announce it at SHOT Show for like spring of 2023. 3 years after they bought Marlin. But anyway, enough of my problems. Let's get right into the discussion, man. A little shout out there. We got Kristen the 740 that just joined in. 500 Magnums out there also. We got some latecomers here. Zingers out there. Chris Winsett. Bjorn's out there too. And that bearded guy is also joining in. I want to go back to a comment that X Adam 1 made. He made a really good comment that really goes along with the topic, saying that, I'm going to have to scroll the way back. He had mentioned that one of his most important firearms that he has, here you go, guns that matter to me the most, my carry gun because of self-defense. Sentimentally, it's my first gun, also my special unicorn type guns like a 1911 that I was finally able to afford. Proud moment. So, things like that. Is it that first pistol that you bought? Is it that first gun that you received that was passed down to you? What is it exactly that that makes a sentimental firearm? So, and this topic, by the way, is courtesy of American Hillbilly. He suggested this topic, and we thought maybe we'd share and have a good time about it. And then also maybe talk about some of those guns that we'd like to maybe buy this year, something we're looking at that's looking interesting. So, Squid, we're going to lead off with you. Sentimental firearm. Do you have one firearm that you just will not be able to part with? I mean, is there something in your collection that just means the most to you out of all the guns that you have? And I know it's asking you to pick your favorite child, but what would you say, Squid?
My most sentimental firearm is not my favorite firearm.
So
okay. Now you got me in a conundrum.
Uh-oh. Well, it doesn't have to be favorite. I mean, there's a few that just mean the most to me, but like I maybe don't shoot them as much as I want to, or so let's go ahead. You can throw a favorite out there too if you want to.
Well, no, I mean, like my favorite means the most to me. Like if we've had that whole discussion. If you could only have one
gun,
it's the one that you will. Yeah, and this one isn't, but it not because I don't like it, and not because. It's because if you really put me to the test, it's kind of like if I could only have one, it's going to be my favorite. But this one would be in with something I'd run back into the house if it was burning again.
So what is it and why?
The most sentimental firearm is the very first gun I ever shot. How many people get to keep the very first gun they shot? And I know some people, well, I shot Daddy's shotgun, and when he died, I got it, and that's kind of what happened with me. But but not everybody gets to do that. Some people go down to the range and have never fired a gun before, and their friend rents them a gun to and shows them how to use it and all this stuff, and they fire it. And you're not going to get to buy that rental, right? You could buy one just like it, but you're not going to get to buy that gun. Or the person who's never fired a gun in their life, and they join the military, and their very first gun they fire is an M4. And obviously, and everybody always says, do you get to keep your? It's like, no, this isn't Switzerland. We don't get to keep it, So there are some that for your very first gun you ever fired, not handled, not whatever. I mean, actually pulled the trigger and it went bang. I have that, and it's actually in pieces because somebody took it apart and lost some parts. So thanks to New York Outcast. Well, thanks to New York Outcast and his peer pressure, I finally cracked and used eBay. Oh my goodness, you can find any antique gun part you want on eBay.
Oh yeah, it's like numeric, but it's cheaper. Yeah.
Well, not necessarily cheaper, but
it's easy. You can see it. You know exactly. Yeah, eBay. They do allow a lot of gun part sales in magazines if there are 10 rounds or less.
He was pushing me for a while there. Use eBay, use it, and I wouldn't use it. Wouldn't use it, And then finally, I needed some stuff, and I got it, and I actually bid on a part and won. And I don't like doing that. I'd rather do the buy now option. But I bid on my first purchase. I bid on it. I won. I got the part, and then I started looking around and going, "Hey, they got this. Hey, they got that. I wonder if they have parts for that old 22." Sure enough.
There's always somebody somewhere that's got something up there where you might have to buy it in a group of parts, but you can at least get what you need,
Yeah, and that's what I ended up doing. To get the part I needed, I had to buy a whole bag of parts, but that's fine. Spares or
I'd just like to take a minute to welcome Squib to the 22nd century or 21st century, whatever the hell it is. There you go.
He's discovered the magic of eBay and PayPal, right?
Yeah, I don't like using stuff like that. I still don't like using it, but
I've been on eBay since 1999, I think. So literally, I've been a member since like before the turn of the millennia, and I've never had a negative experience with it.
Well, the eBay thing kind of branched off into using Gunbroker for the first time, and that was pretty pricey.
Okay.
But the Gunbroker thing was the only place I could find this. I could literally only find it one place. It was on Gunbroker, and I did it. But there was another friend who might be on this panel right now who pressured me into that. So you guys have been good for me and bad for me, but my most sentimental is the very first gun I ever shot, and I hope to hand that down to a child or maybe a grandchild one day. But I've got the parts I need to put it back together. Eventually I will. And, I had an opportunity to buy one just like it once. I was down in Florida at a pawn shop, and there's a chain of these things down there. And they had the Sears and Roebuck version of this rifle there. And it was missing, I think, a front sight. And I'm like, I don't care. I'll buy it. And he said, I can't sell it to you because you're out of state. I go, it's a long gun. He goes, I know the law. And I totally agree with you. However, company policy says you can't sell to out of state. So I almost got one. And I've on a rare occasion, I'll see one at a gun show. It's just an old 22, and everybody, knows that old 22.
Oh yeah.
So I'm going to hold on to that. I'm going to maintain it, and I'll be adding to my spare parts inventory. But maybe I'll buy another one at some point.
There you go. Head on down to Wanamaker. You'll probably find 50 of them.
Yeah, that's true. Here's the thing. I've always said that for the cost of the fuel round trip, I could just go to Antique Arms here
buy the gun.
And buy 2 or 3, and I can. Our Antique Arms show here, we do 4 a year. It's pretty good, but I suppose keeping a little bit of money in reserve for either parts or for one of these is probably not a bad idea, because I do plan to go to other antique arms shows in other areas. So maybe one day I'll bite the bullet, I guess, and spend the money to drive the Wanamaker.
There you go.
I just think that for some people, if they don't have gun shows like that in their area, they look at this in one way, and I understand it's a big building. I get it.
Oh yeah.
But so the way people talk about, I've never seen one of these at a gun show before, and it's like I've seen 4.
You got to really make the circuit. If you do a whole season of in-state gun shows, you'll see pretty much a lot of what you think you want to find, and you'd be surprised. Maybe not the prices you want, but still, yeah.
Well, I'm thinking about doing some out-of-state antique firearms shows just to see if it's there, and it's more than what I think is fair market value. But I've been looking for this thing. I might just pony up and buy. And I don't just mean that 22 rifle. I mean other stuff. I mean, there's lots of junk I'm looking for.
Yeah, it's always kind of fun just to scour around and see what's out there, just to see what you can find. Cool, man. Cool. Tony York is chiming in. He goes, my grandfather had a bolt action single shot 22. That was likely my first. So yeah, there you go. All right. Defense Dad, let's move on to you. I think I got a feeling I think I know what you're going to mention, but I'll save the thunder and let you share that with us. What is your most sentimental firearm, Defense Dad, and why?
Sentimental, kind of like Squib. It's not my favorite, but it is kind of my favorite. But it's the first gun I ever shot. It's my grandpa's old Ruger Mark I. First firearm I ever shot. I own it now. It's 4 generations of my family have shot on it. It will become my daughter's, so it's that one. It's been taken very good care of. It looks damn near brand new.
It does. I've seen it. I think I've shot it before, haven't I? Have I ever shot that?
Yeah, you have.
I fired it. Yeah, that's cool when you got that kind of heritage, and it just kind of gets passed from one generation to the next, and you can kind of keep it in the family, which I think is important. And you don't wonder. I just kind of wonder how much of that still happens these days. Hopefully, it still does. With a lot of families and kids and stuff. And,
I know my stepdad. He's got his grandpa's guns and that kind of stuff. So I mean, I hope the tradition keeps coming.
Yeah, definitely. I think so. Cool. All right, and Single Shot. What about you, man? What's up?
All right. Good morning, everybody, and Merry Christmas. I've got two of them. I got a bolt action 22 Magnum that my great grandfather passed down to me. That was my first one, and I am very partial to that. That's in pretty fair condition. I've got to do some stock work on it, clean it up, stuff like that. But the other one was a Savage Model 10. It's a like the Browning A5. It's the only thing I can think of.
Yeah,
I got that from my grandfather. So those two guns there, they're going to get passed down. And that was one of my favorite shotguns. So the very first one I bought, though, myself, was a 12-gauge single-shot Rossi.
Oh, wow.
I bought that thing many, many, many years ago and paid $27 for it.
So that's about four decades ago. Looking at the price of inflation right now, it's like, okay, that's about $125 gun at this point. So if not a little bit more, yeah.
That old gun has shot a lot of critters, so pretty partial to that as well.
Cool. That's all right. Well, for me, I would have to say it is now. We've had firearms in my family for a long time, but we were not a hunting family. In fact, if I'd ever go shoot clay pigeons, blue rock as we call it in Nebraska, I'd usually go with my friends and their dads and stuff. So we didn't really have much of a gun culture in the family. Going to the range, my dad had a couple firearms around for self-defense. But when I moved, I told the story before. When I moved out to Lexington, Nebraska, central Nebraska in 2001. He gave me a Mossberg 835 that he bought from a friend that had never been used. And it was like a 1992, 1993 is when it was produced. I've shown it in a video before. It's kind of black with like just swashes of green over it. It's a factory camo finish. I have no idea what it is. It almost looks like rattle can. It's pre-mossy oak. I mean, it's like mossy oak was like not, you can hardly ever get that on guns back in the early 90s from what I've seen. And it also has a slug barrel with it. So he's like, hey, he goes, this is something. He goes, you're going to a place where there's a lot of public hunting grounds. You've got ranges out there. He's like, he goes, it's a great shotgun. It'll do, 3.5-inch Magnum rounds. And so I got that, and it has the rifled barrel with it, so I can take the barrel off and put the rifled barrel on. It's not a big deal. A lot of guns come like that. And it's like it's a certain edition. I can't remember what it is. It's got a medallion in the stock, but that means the most to me because he actually gave that to me thinking of me. And he's like, this is something you might come in handy. It's good to have. It's just a big old hunting shotgun. Take the choke tubes out and tune it for whatever you want. So for me, it's got to be that gun because that's the one gun I actually received from a family member. My grandparents, when they moved into their current house, my grandpa had all of my grandmother's father's guns, and those all got sold at auction. And if I wasn't like 17 at the time and didn't know anything about guns, I probably would have bid on them. There were like side-by-side 410s. There was a Remington version of the Browning Auto 5. There was like a 308 bolt action, some handguns. My grandmother's father was a motorcycle Nebraska Highway Patrol officer, and he had a pearl-handled stainless revolver. I don't know what it was. It was in a display case and stuff. All that stuff sold at the auction when they moved. They had an auction, literally walk through the house and sell everything in the house that they didn't want. And they had stuff sitting out and everything. And those were the guns that did sell. It would have been nice to maybe receive some of those, being the gun person I am now, but I wasn't back then. If I had asked, I probably would have been able to receive them. But for me, it's definitely that 12-gauge pump action for my dad. I think those are the ones that one means the most to me. I'm never going to get rid of it. I've never had any urge to want to sell it just because it's such a handy shotgun. You can fire anything through it. You can use it for whatever you want. I used it for my first deer hunt, shooting, Hornady slug rounds through it. It's an awesome gun. It's made on a 10-gauge receiver, which is kind of cool. So it's very well built. It's very sturdy, very heavy duty. Let's see here. 500 Magnum says my most sentimental gun is my Smith & Wesson Shield because it's my ADC and I trust my life to it. I think a lot of people feel that way. There's a lot of people that their first gun is their carry gun because they've worn into guns before. Maybe in the last 5 or 10 years they actually bought firearms. Black Hat Outdoors. What's going on, Black Hat? He says, I wish I had my grandfather's guns, but he died when I was a kid and they went to auction. Yeah, there you go. No idea how I could even track him down. No, that was back in the early 80s. You probably wouldn't be able to. I mean, to find out who the buyers were, especially if it was private sale stuff after the initial auction, you'd probably never find it. I mean, you could get lucky, but I know I've been tempted to go back and buy a Remington Viper because that was the first rifle I actually bought when I was like 20. The first handgun I ever bought was a Gen 2 G20 10mm Glock. We'll talk about that in a second. 500 Magnum says, have you ever shot the VP70? I really want to. I'm a huge Resident Evil fan. I'm going to push that question off to our local H&K expert, Defense Dad. VP70, yes, no, maybe. What would you say?
Sorry, what was that?
VP70, is that the gun to get? Is that 500 Magnum's kind of curious if you can talk about that. The H&K VP70. Do you know much about that?
Honestly, I'm not familiar with it.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. We'll have to look that up. No, I've only H&K handguns I've ever fired are the ones that Defense Dad brings to the range. So I am a Walther PDP owner myself, but not nothing H&K, unfortunately. But Black Hat Outdoors says my most sentimental is probably my Winchester 94. Dad bought it for me for 13th birthday, and it was my deer rifle up until I was in my late 30s. Eats beat to heck, and it still shoots great. That's just it right there. Tony York says I will not sell my Glenfield 60. Scott 79 says I don't really have any inherited guns. My brother got that, which he didn't even want. It was a Mossberg 22 rifle. I'm not even sure the model because Mossberg made so many different ones. Yeah, there's a ton of them out there. 500 Magnum says that was a shield comment. We looked at that one earlier. And 500 Magnum says it was the first ever polymer gun. So there you go. Very cool. Ozzy Orsborn says my most sentimental is an H&R 410 single shot I got back in 1974. I was 14. What's cool, man, you can still get those break action single shots today, and they're still inexpensive. They make a great just first firearm for somebody to teach somebody to shoot on without getting too crazy. Let them learn how to properly respect the firearm, and then you can definitely get them an upgrade down the road. So now let's change topics a little bit. We have some time. Let's think about this one for a second, guys. Firearms or a firearm that you regret selling the most. And this is for any young people listening that are planning on inheriting firearms from another family member, or parents, have this discussion with your kids. You are not allowed to sell this when I'm gone. This needs to be passed through the family. So tell them now as a warning so that they don't make the mistakes that we've made. So Squibby, I'm going to start off with you. Are there any firearms that you just regret selling? Anything that you're just like, why did I sell? What was it? Did you ever sell anything you thought, why did I do that? And then you couldn't get it back?
I've never sold a firearm. I've never had one of my guns and sold it off. However, I did trade.
Oh, okay. Or trade. We can say trade. We can say trade. I never thought of that. Yeah, go ahead.
The first gun I ever purchased, and then the first 3 guns I ever purchased, I traded during AWB for a parts kit. And what I paid for those 3 guns and what I paid for the lower were still less than buying a brand new fully assembled AR. I got rid of the guns because the first one I got was used and it had problems. It literally flew apart every time I fired it. It would literally break in pieces and I'd have to put it back together.
Okay.
The next 2 I bought, they were brand new. One of them stayed in the box, brand new, and I said, I'm going to save this for a kid one day or something else like that. The other one, I put one of them stupid stocks on so I looked tactical and crap like that.
Yeah.
And it functioned, and the ammo was cheap, $3 a box, but I just never really cared for it. Right.
Okay.
So I said, I'm getting rid of these and I'm getting a parts kit for an AR. And today those rifles combined are probably worth between $1,700 and $2,000.
Okay.
So was it a good trade? Probably not, looking back at it, because my kids had an interest in this rifle, and 2 of them, one of them would have been newer used, and the other one would have been never fired, right?
Mm-hmm.
To give to them. But yeah, I don't. Here's the thing: after I die, I can't control what my kids do.
Yeah,
and I won't be around to do anything about it. If I were to tell them, hey, this gun has sentimental value, or this is a bucket list gun. I would prefer that it never gets pawned. Don't, if you have to hide it from your wife because one day she might divorce you and take it. Okay. But I got a bucket list gun as a birthday present, and it's something I've been wanting for a long time. And I would prefer that it doesn't get put on the short list.
Oh,
but
okay.
What if the kids don't like it?
Too bad.
Yeah, see, that's just it.
We can't just say that. Don't ever get rid of this. You're about to be homeless. Don't ever sell this gun. Don't get that $1,000 that's going to keep your lights on. I mean,
and that's
life,
just it.
Life happens, unfortunately.
They might see one of these on Gunbroker for $4,000 and go, I can get $4,000 for it. Well, first off, you're not going to get $4,000 for it. Secondly, you got to work to find somebody who wants to buy it. And then what is this for? You're seriously going to sell this gun to pay your rent? I don't understand that. Okay, I've heard people talk about that sort of thing. I sold a gun to pay a bill. Okay, this must have been a cheap gun. And sometimes I guess they are. It's just that hunting shotgun that you bought last year that they're a dime a dozen and nobody cares.
Mm-hmm.
But I've got some guns that I've either been given as a gift or that have been on my bucket list that I've been able to scratch that off, or they've gone up in value. You pay $495 for it, and 20 years later, it's worth $1,495, and nobody has it in stock. That's not something you pawn. Somebody might rub their hands together and go, I can, put a down payment on something. But why? It's only going to go up in value. It's only going to get more rare. So I would love for my son to be able to hand a gun to one of my grandkids one day and say, your grandpa got this on his 50th birthday from grandma, and it's worth a lot of money, but don't look at it as it's worth a lot of money. He got this because he always wanted one of these, or he wanted one of these for a long time, and it was really out of his price range, and it was a special event, and it's special to him. It's special to me, and one day I want it to be special to you, or something like that,
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. And I think that's the way to do it, because you just can't control what the kids are going to do with the guns when you're gone. As much as you wish nothing would happen and you want them to stay in the family, you just don't ever know what's going to happen,
I mean, okay, here's advice from an old man to you young bucks out there. Do not pawn a gun that you got from your dad or your grandpa or your aunt or your uncle or whoever to get some ring for some stupid chick, okay? Because she will stab you in the back. She will take half your crap. She will screw around on you with your best friend, and she will embarrass you in front of the world and not care. And you're out that gun because you will never get it back. And if she doesn't understand, she's definitely not the one. You might think she's the one, but if she doesn't understand that you're not going to pawn this sentimental gun or a piece of jewelry that she'll end up pawning one day anyhow,
after she's destroyed your
she might say, I don't understand the gun thing. I don't understand why this, because it's not.
This is what you tell your children when you hand them the firearms. Let's not butter it up. Let's just give it to them exactly how it is.
And
right?
If she says, if that gun's more important to you than me, never get that gun back. You'll never. I know that's for this show. That's harsh, but I'm being a harsh reality. The reality is, you'll never get that gun back. You will always regret it, and you're just going to go find another woman.
Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas.
There's my Christmas fatherly advice to all you young guys out there who inherit something sentimental. It really is. And if she really does understand, she might go, I think it's ugly, or I don't get it, or I don't ever want to shoot it, but I get it. This is from your grandpa. You're never going to sell this. That's a keeper.
There you go. That's how you know it was meant to be.
Pretty much.
All righty.
I'll second everything Squib just said.
The views and panels expressed on this show are all sentiment shared by Travis P11, but are not expressly. Well, hey, I mean, that's just a reality for a lot of people, and that's just something that can happen. And
all I want for Christmas is some good fatherly advice.
That's it right there. There you go. This is Speaking Squibbish. Thanks for watching. Yeah. All right. And on that note, Defense Dad, would you like to? Is there anything you could add at this point?
Are we still on guns? Selling?
Guns now that we've got fatherly advice for your children, both male and female, what would you say? What would you say?
There's two guns that I regret selling. One I don't regret so much, but the first gun I ever bought myself was my Ruger SR9. I didn't really sell. I traded it towards my first HK, which was a good trade. But I do miss that SR9. So if I find one in good shape, I'm probably going to buy one just to have it again.
Yeah.
And then people are going to make fun of me, but my second gun I ever bought was my Taurus G2C. I traded that in towards the G3C, and I honestly regret it. I know the G3C has a better trigger. I didn't mind the trigger on the G2C, but the G2C had adjustable sights, which corrected the shooting low problem on those. So I wish I wouldn't have made that trade.
Okay.
Other than that, I sell guns more than a lot of people do, but I buy guns at super low prices a lot of times, knowing I'm going to shoot it, and if I like it, I can sell it and either get my money back out or even make a profit. But there's only a few that I ever sell that I regret.
Okay. I think you take the right kind of approach to it. I think that's probably
if you do your research, like during the panic buying, the pandemic, I bought several guns at crazy low prices in the middle of that, and I turned around and sold them and made a couple $100 on each one of them after I was done with them.
Yeah, there's a couple, and there are some, and now that prices have gotten lower, I mean, if there's something you guys see that you like, I would say we've basically hit pre-pandemic pricing on firearms. Let's just throw it out there. I mean, we're now getting police trade-ins are back in stock again. We're getting the $158 after rebate towards G2Cs. They're back now. You can get a Heritage Rough Rider for like $55 after a $30 mail-in rebate. I mean, it's ridiculous how low the prices are in a good kind of way. So you need to take advantage of it. You can get an AR-15 now. You can put one together minus optics and a mag for $330, especially if you're just buying one, you're just buying the receiver and the upper, slapping the two together and calling it good. I mean, pistols, you got your, I'm seeing Blem PSA daggers for $299. So see, this is where we put that bug in your ear about those new firearms to buy for the year coming up. So, okay, that's cool. That's cool. I got you. Real quick, Blackout Outdoors says probably my Russian SKS. I'll never own one again with the price of them now, which is why I sold it. Yeah, the Russian SKS I got to test on, I think it was a Tula, the one that Stan loaned me. Dude, it was fantastic. That thing was beautiful. I mean, I'm saying that about an SKS, but compared to the Norinco that I shot it next to when I did my Bubba versus Babushka video series, it just night and day differences. The machining, the tooling, the fit and finish. It was amazing how well made the SKS, the Tula Russian SKS was. So, all right, and then finally, single shot. What about you? Any guns that you regret selling that you wish you could have back that you might have to just go buy again at some point? What would you say?
Oh yeah, I've done that quite a few times. I run up against hard times there with being out of work and having to have some oil for heat. So unfortunately, I sold a Marlin 44 Magnum Lover, a Ruger M77-7 mag, which I've replaced, but I've got a lot of work to do to it now to clean up, and a GP 100, and I wish I had never sold those guns. It was.
I wish I had bought the GP 100 from you because I want one really bad.
I'll tell you what, I got another one here a while back, and stainless 6-inch. The only thing that I have not done to it yet is the trigger job that I did to that other one. That other one, I could take that son of a gun and hit soda cans at 100 yards with that thing all day long. That's how accurate that thing was. But I'm going to get into it eventually. I did improve this one here with a Y-end scope mount, and I've got a red dot on that thing. And it shoots pretty well. As a matter of fact, it's one of my videos on YouTube where I compared the 40 against the 357. Okay. That was the one that was used in that video. I shot my 40 Smith & Wesson against a 357, and it's taken one deer. That 357 has taken one deer so far, so I've got no complaints. I do have regrets about selling those guns. Those two that I mentioned before, those will never be sold. And, like folks have mentioned, you can't control what the kids are going to do. All you can do is ask them not to and keep them in the family. So I don't know if that's going to happen or not. Unfortunately, me and the wife didn't have any children of our own, but I've got two godchildren. Possibly one will take one of them and hang on to it. But nieces and nephews, I've got a few, so they may go to them if something happens to me. So
cool. Well, at least you got a plan. I think that's the most important.
Oh yeah,
thing, so, yeah. Kevin Jung out there says, "Oh man, I sold my Remington Rand 1911 GI from 1942. I got a CZ SP01, a Shadow 2, and a few thousand rounds for it. Not unhappy. I've got a Shadow 2, and it is magnificent. It's like owning a Porsche 911. Let's just get it out there. It is a fantastic firearm, and that's one of those, if I can only have one guns, that Shadow 2 is just magic. Squib, you'll get a chance to shoot it this summer at Thunder on the Prairie. So, oof, man, there you go. I would say for me, the one that I regret the most is my Glock G20 10mm. It was the first handgun I ever bought. My buddy's dad actually won it in a competition. He did a shooting competition. That was one of the prizes. They were giving away a G20 Gen 2. And he got it, wasn't a polymer gun guy, just a traditional wood and steel gun guy. And I bought it from him for like $300 back in the day. This would have been right when I turned 21. I bought it right after I turned 21 back in like 97 or 98. And what I did with it is I ended up selling it to a friend of mine who was actually graduating or going into the Highway Patrol Academy, Nebraska State Patrol Academy. So he bought that, and then I took the money and bought a Smith & Wesson, was it, help me out, defense, the W, what the heck was it, S&W 99? It was like the Walther P99. It was the Smith & Wesson version of it. It had the Walther frame, I think, but the Smith slide or vice versa.
I think that's what it was.
Bought that because it was in the James Bond movie, the newest Bond movie back in the day. And I think this might have been 1999 possibly. And got that and took the money and bought that gun. And then that gun, this is a really sad story. When I was graduating from teachers college, I was horrible with managing money in college. I had no training on it as a kid. I was terrible with it. And I'm not going to push it off on anybody else, but I mean, I had no money and I had to graduate and I had to pay a graduation fee of like $125 to graduate. And I'm like, why have I been paying tuition? She's like, well, it covers your diploma and blah, blah, blah. And I had to pay for cap and gown. So I took the SW99 to Shields in Lincoln. I think they had just opened back then, and sold it and got most of what I paid for it back out of it, paid it off, put gas in my car. I still had a CZ52. And I had a H&R 22 revolver with a 22 mag cylinder. So I had some firearms, and I had a pump action Mossberg, like not the one that my dad gave me. So that's it. I'm always out kind of looking for a Gen 2 Glock G20, but they've gotten so expensive anymore. I'll probably never buy another one. And what really sucks is we were at Cabela's a couple of years ago with Foose. We were at the Cabela's in Omaha. I think he was out for a shooting competition. And they had a Gen 2 G20 in the case for $400. And I didn't buy it. And I'm kicking myself to this day for not buying it. Whether they had mechanical issues or not, I don't care. I just wanted one because it was my first handgun. It really got me into guns back in the day. And that was it. So, all right. So real quick, just to show you so there's a request out there. What does that Mossberg 835 look like that I was talking about? Well, I just happened to have done a video on it. It was one of my earliest videos that I did back in the day. So this is what it looks like. This is the Mossberg 835 Ultimag Waterfowl USA Edition 12 gauge. And it's just like, it looks like a rattle can camo finish, but it's not. That's a factory finish on it. I added the sling to it. It does come with that rifled slug barrel that you see right there that has its own iron sights on it, which is sweet. Kind of a pain to change out the barrels. They don't come out easy, but you can. I showed off the choke tubes with it and talked about it. So that's made on a 10 gauge receiver. And it shoots the 2 3/4, 3 and 3.5 inch Magnum rounds. And I've used that for everything. I've used it for waterfowl. I've used it for upland game bird. The only problem I ever had with that shotgun was we did pheasant hunting north of Kearney, Nebraska, probably about, at this point, probably 10 years ago. And the problem I had with it is it was like a freezing rain that was coming down when we were out. And the safety on the top, my safety lever kept freezing. And so we decided just to go ahead and call it. We were all freezing and miserable. It was like 10 degrees out, just awful weather. And we're, out in the middle of the prairie walking around looking for pheasant. And my safety kept freezing, so we all just called it a day and went back. But that's been the only time I've ever had issues with that gun, because it has the top tang safety on it, not the crossbolt on the bottom. But just awesome gun. Now, what's weird is, for being a 90s gun, you would think not, but the trigger components and stuff are all polymer. The hand, your little hand guard down there, your finger guard is all polymer. So, but it's been a wonderful gun. And you can see those do pop up from time to time over on Gunbroker, and they're like $300 if you can find one. But I've got all the accessories for it. I've got all the choke tubes. I've got all the manuals that came with it. And that was a gun that my dad gave me. And that's been a wonderful shotgun. I'm never going to get rid of it. So that's what it is right there. So let's go ahead and end that. All right. Well, we've got a few minutes before we wrap it up here. Like I said, I only got about an hour because we got family stuff going on, but I'm checking the comments to see if there's anything out there. Maybe some guns that you guys are looking forward to getting in the near future. What do you guys want to buy? I'm going to start off on this one because I complain about it every week. I want the Ruger Marlin 336 whenever those things go for sale. I've been really tempted to buy the 4570s. They've had them in stock at Shields. Now, I've also been kind of teetering on getting a side gate loading Henry 3030, because I've officially designated my current Henry 3030 octagonal barrel color case hardened finish rifle as a safe queen. And so I want to get another one that I can use as a beater, $1,000 beater, that I can take out and enjoy and just shoot, not really worry about. So I want another lever gun. I just don't know which one I'm going to get. So for me, it's going to be the Ruger Marlin 336 whenever they come out. It's going to be an impulse purchase when I see one on the shelf. And I don't care what I pay for it. It's probably going to be MSRP of $1,000 because they're going to want to compete with Henry. So single shot, what about you? What are you looking at buying? We had a little discussion about this before we started. What's on your wish list for 2023?
Oh, I really haven't thought about it too awfully much. I've got quite a few firearms now. Maybe another gun safe.
Yeah, after the price of the gun, you can, yeah.
I'm looking at that CVA single shot 4570, that one. And I would love to have
break action for 278, and it's got a Weaver rail right on the top of it. So it's the what was it called again? It was the CVA. Scout. Yeah. The break action 4570 from Connecticut Valley Arms. They make great black powder rifles, by the way.
Yeah, I've always wanted a Henry 4570 lever too, for the rifles. But to think about it even further, the Smith & Wesson 10 millimeter they just come out with. I've been thinking about one of them.
M&P?
Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to expand that metal line all across the board. If they're going to do all the guns in metal at one point, like they're going to do different calibers, and I can't help but wonder if they're going to maybe take it to that point. That'll probably be like next year's announcement at SHOT Show. We're going to offer 5 different metal models, because it is bringing them people into a higher price point. It's probably making them a little more money. I mean, they have better trigger. I think they're wonderful guns. I'd love to have one. I don't want one in gray. There's nothing wrong with that color, but I'd rather have one in black if they ever do that, or maybe an FTE, which I'm sure they will. They'll probably offer them once they saturate the market with a couple, 1,000 of those sold. Then they'll probably do multiple colors. So,
yeah. I've got the standard matte finish 40 right now. That's my EDC. That one goes with me just about everywhere I go.
Okay.
So that one I'm gonna hang on to, but I've got a few there that I'm in the process of refurbishing and cleaning up after that mess down in Georgia with the fire, and that has taken a long time, unfortunately. And I've got a couple things to pick up from my black powder pistol, the revolver there. It's a cap and ball 44. I've got a few parts that I've got to pick up for that. So eventually that thing's going to be usable because my brother's getting into it. So he wants to try it. Yeah.
Fun. Yeah, black powder revolvers, an addiction. I wish I had a nice warm day. I could just sit outside and I wish I had a backyard. I could just sit out there on my porch and just load them and just have fun shooting them all day, which I'm going to have to get mine out this spring. So, yep. And I blame Squib for my black powder addiction and my reloading. So,
it's fun.
Positive peer pressure from your friends. So, right on, man. All right, cool. Hey, Defense Dad, what about you? What are you looking at picking up? Because you're just kind of like, you find stuff on a whim all the time that you want to buy. What are you really seriously thinking about getting this year? Are you finally going to get that Browning?
There's 4.
4. Oh, tell us about what's on the wish list. What's on the defense side wish list?
Yeah. All but one are FUD guns. So the Browning Buckmark, if I find the right one and the right price, I'm picky on those. I want a stainless Rossi 92 and 357.
Okay.
And I want a little nicer 1911.
Okay.
And then I want a color case hardened one.
1911.
Yep.
Okay.
And then last one is I want to build an AR that a little bit nicer than what I have.
Okay.
So I want to do like a custom Cerakote job, nicer internals, that kind of stuff.
Get a nice aftermarket trigger. Go with like a quality parts kit. Get an upper that's Yeah.
I'm not going to go crazy. I don't need a 1 or 2 pound trigger, but I want something other than just like a
There's a lot of drop-in triggers you can get that are under $100 that are fine. That do a wonderful job. Yep. Yeah. What are you thinking about?
Buckmark's top on the priority.
Oh, okay. The Buckmark, yeah, because I know I'm always looking for you whenever I find it's like, hey, they got a Buckmark. You're like, oh, it's just a camper model. I'm not interested.
It's the medallion series that I want. It's the ones that most people don't like. It's the sides are milled flat, so it doesn't have the round barrel. It's two-tone blued and stainless.
Dude, that'd be awesome. So you can buy them. You can buy them online, right? You could find one on Gunbroker if you want one.
Yeah, they're just got their ridiculous price right now. They have been for damn near a year.
What are we talking? 1,200, 1,000?
Oh no, maybe for a Buckmark. You're talking like
$400, $350.
Should be $350 to $400, but they're going for no less than MSRP right now, which is like $550 or so.
Okay.
And I want it, but I don't want it that bad. I don't pay MSRP for anything.
Okay. Yeah. No, I know that, man. You're like the negotiations master. When you got as much sales experience as you do, you refuse to pay full price. And here's the best part. You know how to walk away. You know how to walk away when you need to. If it's not a good deal, you know how to walk away.
Yep, I listened to Kenny Rogers, man.
That's right. You got to know when to hold them. You got to know when to fold them.
That's right.
Awesome. All right. And Squib, are we just going to take a pause from buying guns in 2023 and just maybe focus on maybe some lesser cost items like cleaning supplies, or maybe what do you think, Squib?
So yeah, we're going to take a pause until we pay off a loan. So I had kind of an interesting situation.
Okay.
For my 50th birthday, my wife wanted to get me something nice, but we're so old at this point for Christmas and birthday, we just get what we want and say, this is what you got me, because yeah.
Life is short. So, you got to get it now because it might not be there tomorrow, and you might not be there tomorrow. So.
50. 50.
I thought he was like 28.
50.
I thought he was 35. He doesn't look any day older than 40.
That's right.
But go ahead, Squib. Continue.
So she was kind of well, what were you thinking? And I said, well, there's a bucket list gun, but it would be the most expensive gun that I've ever purchased. As a matter of fact, I was thinking about taking out a loan to buy it because, people have talked to me about the layaway or they've got these companies that give you loans just for guns, financing stuff. You get the gun and you pay. And I've done personal expense loans before, whatnot. And I'm not trying to brag either, but I have a certain threshold where if I'm going to pay more than this, there better be a darn good reason. Well, turning 50 was a darn good reason. So I said, would you be okay with me taking out a loan for this thing? And she said, you only turned 50 once. And, she was good with it. So I wasn't getting permission, but if she was going to spend this much on something, I would want to know before.
Just a heads up. What are you signing off on again?
What if we got other things coming up that, hey, now this compromises that? And that was my biggest thing. I don't have to, but yeah, you only turn 50 once. And I've been trying to focus more on bucket list guns than just, I got the itch. Because a lot of people buy a gun just because they have the itch. And I've had bucket list guns since I was a teenager. So I got this thing. I had to look around for it too, because it's come in and out of stock. They've imported them into the country. They've built them off of parts kits and stuff. And it's been hard to find it. And I think that's one of the reasons the price is so high. As a matter of fact, one company had them. And 3 weeks after I decided on this, they went out of stock and they were double the price on Gunbroker. People literally had these things brand new, just bought them, turn around and trying to flip them for double, and people would pay that much. I even looked into a full auto version of this gun. It was only $15,000. And I said, that's not bad. If I'm going to finance it, why not? That's nothing, right? People go, that's a lot. Nothing. Spread out over 5 years. You don't even notice it.
No,
Anyhow,
this is true.
Anyhow,
yeah.
but I didn't like the stock on it. So I said, nah, I wasn't worried about the ATF kicking in my door and all the other garbage people say about all that. I don't agree with the NFA, but it's not even a thing. Regardless, I just said, why don't I just get this one here? And I went round and round with the guy for 3 weeks because he had to machine make cuts to it and do all kinds of stuff to build this thing from a parts kit. But I got it. So it was some trouble and whatnot. And it came in and, I took it to the range to test fire it because I want to make sure I didn't want to have to send it back. But the thing is, did I get it as an early present? Did I get it as a late present? Did I get it, after I turned 50? Did I get it before? Did I turn 50 today? Who knows? But until I pay off the loan, which won't take very long to pay off, I'll have it paid off next year for sure. I really don't think I want to get any other firearms. As a matter of fact, I'd like to spend next year getting to enjoy this firearm, getting to appreciate it, and actually enjoying something that was on my bucket list that is no longer on my bucket list. Enjoying something that, as far as I'm concerned, this is a gift from my wife. And it's a gift that hopefully, I can pass down to my kids one day and they appreciate it. And it might not be, somebody might look at it and go, it's wood and steel and it's from the 50s. And then what it's not. And for them, it's just a clunky old, but for me, this is something that I've wanted for a long, and I finally got it. Mm-hmm. And so until I pay off that loan, no. Instead, I'm just going to go to the range. As a matter of fact,
spend money on ammo and reloading supplies,
Well, that's just it. Next birthday, I think I'm going to have to get some dies for this because I don't reload for this caliber. So
okay. Yeah. Is ammo available for it?
Oh yeah. And I have to use, as far as I know, I have to use military grade ammunition because I don't want to do damage to the internals. And hopefully I'm able to make a few YouTube videos with it. Somebody might watch the video and go, that's just, like I said, a clunky old wooden rifle. Who cares? But for me, it's special. And, for somebody who's younger, they just want to get the new cool stuff. I get it. But when you get older, you start looking back and going, the gun that you passed up or something like that. And I'm thinking more bucket list guns for me, now that I'm old.
Yeah, I'm starting to spend more money on optics now. I want better clarity. I'm not buying just inexpensive optics. I want good optics, and I also I'm the same way. I bought a few guns that have been pretty pricey in the last couple of years. Instead of buying more and buying less, but getting more of what I want and just getting them now. Now, the thing is, for anybody that's not buying guns this year, what you could pick up for yourself is a nice gun stand from rnldisplays.com. rnldisplays.com sells gun stands for AR-15s. They're working on some AK-47 models. These are American-made, veteran-owned. This is the fine furniture to display your fine firearm. And yes, they are Glock mag compatible. And then they also have some pistol holders you can check out too. So get over there to rnldisplays.com. Did I mention I'm not actually sponsored by them, but I am an owner of their products and I believe in what they do. And so that's why I want you guys to head over to rnldisplays.com. Speaking of which, there's no New York Outcast this morning. I'm really disappointed to kind of get his take on this whole conversation, but that's fine. He's probably busy counting his millions of dollars and his gold coins in his basement, maybe thinking about which gold coin he's going to give his kids, so anyway, all right, we're going to go ahead and call it, guys. I only have an hour and that's it. We got family stuff coming up here and we're all going to get busy. I want to let everybody get off and enjoy their holiday weekends and so on. So we'll just go ahead and wrap it up. I mean, any final words you guys want to say or plug your channel? Single Shot, we'll start off with you.
Well, we got a lot of time off, so I'm going to be doing some cleaning. And I've got 3 candidates right now, 2 of them sitting on the kitchen table here and 1 downstairs in the shop. So I'm going to try to put up a few videos on Rumble for that, where I'm going to be in the process of cleaning those up. My internet's been having a real issue this morning for some reason. I don't know what's going on with it, but ever since last night we had all that wind.
Oh,
it's been really screwy.
Havoc on the lines, above ground, below ground, who knows? Equipment.
Yeah. And unfortunately they haven't upgraded the internet delivery system out here. I'm stuck on DSL. Bleh.
Oh yeah, it's a wonderful 12 megabits per second speed. You can sort of browse stuff. I know my grandma had it for the longest time, and the greatest moment of technology history in my grandparents' home is when they got cable internet. Now they can't. They can get fiber optic, but they don't want to upgrade. So, but at least we got 100 megabit per second, so we can at least do some episodes of Caliber Corner, from there if we need to, and the whole family can search and not have to complain. Although we should be sitting around talking to each other's faces instead. We're all on our phones, but.
Well, that's a good thing. So, but anyway, I wanted to wish everybody a Merry Christmas. Take care. Have a great holiday and have fun. And try to spend as much time with the family as you possibly can. I've got a couple of things I've got to do today. I'm going to try to stop by and see my brother and all that gang. So.
Cool.
So take care. Sounds God bless. America moves by truck.
Absolutely. Always. All right. Defense Dad, want to plug the channel, get any final words out there? Anything you want to say before we go?
Oh, nothing but for the channel, but public service announcement. For those of you who waited till today to go out and do your Christmas shopping.
Oh, man.
When you go to the store and your salesperson informs you, unfortunately, they're out of the product you're looking for, don't yell at them. It's not their fault that you waited until Christmas Eve to go start Christmas shopping.
Absolutely. Absolutely. This all started in the 90s as parents were combating each other over Tickle Me Elmos and Nintendo 64s. And it's since this festing disease that has not gone away since then. This why can't I have it now, thing. When you've had months to buy it and you've been putting it off and now you're mad it's not in stock. I mean, unfortunately, as the employees, we can't just tell those people, it's not my problem. It's your problem.
Oh, I did last night. I had a guy come in wanting something and he's like, I can't believe you're out of it. I'm like, well,
it's the day before Christmas.
We've had them for 3 weeks, and everybody bought them 3 weeks ago.
So it should have came in sooner. So tell them to have a NATO New Year. There you go. Have a 762 by 51 NATO New Year. That's it. Oh man. All right. Good stuff. Let's see here. I can't remember. Squib, did I get to you? Final plugs?
No, but I just kind of want to piggyback off of what Defense Dad said. I did a video where I showed how I buy stuff throughout the year for Christmas. It's in stock. It's been out of stock forever. I snatch it up. I got a good deal on it. I snatch it up. I'm on vacation. I'm traveling out of state. I haven't seen this where I'm at. I snatch it up. I got a big plastic box I bought, just like one of those Rubbermaid containers or one of those plastic boxes they sell at Sam's Club or whatnot, right? And it's just a storage box. And I put the stuff in there. Christmas, birthday, anniversary, stuff like that. And when it gets close to Christmas time, I'll open it up and take a look and inventory it. And what am I missing? Or, if I got them this, did I get them this and this to go with this or whatever it is? And then I'll get this kind of straggler stuff. Or, oh man, I got stuff for everybody, but I forgot this person. Let me order this or go buy this or whatever. And I try to do it because about October, things start going on sale, but things also start drying up. So, this is how I do things. I've already bought 2023 Christmas stuff, and it's in the box. So it's not me trying to tell you how to live your life or telling people that I'm better than you. But there are people that go, oh, man, I can't get this because it's out of stock, right? Defense Dad, it's not on the shelf anymore. Or whatever it is, right? There are opportunities to do that. And then you spread it out over the year. Just don't lose the box, okay? Because don't lose the box. Put it somewhere where you can find it and where it's not going to get damaged. And don't get perishable stuff, obviously.
No.
If you're, I've got 9 boxes of ammo in there.
What the heck?
Wow. What happened?
I don't know. I must have lost internet.
I guess so.
So today on Caliber Corner, we learned how to kick the host off his own show.
Well, that's not cool. That's not cool. It just said your internet went. I said, oops, something went wrong.
Okay, so it wasn't just me.
Yeah.
No, it just
you're on a good rant. I was like, what?
I know. I'm sitting here listening. I'm like,
bottom line, what I was getting
Squib.
Here I was bragging about my blistering fast fiber optic internet. And, it just took a dump. So.
Falls on his face.
All right, so Squib, continue.
Well, no, Defense Dad, what did you have to add?
I was going to say, bottom line, what I was trying to get at is, I get that you want that perfect gift for your family, but I guarantee you, as someone has to go into retail work today into retail sales, I don't want to be there. They don't want to be there. And we just soon come over the counter and smack you if you throw a fit in the store.
So here's today's quality of life improvement piece of advice. Don't go to the mall. Stay home with your family. Put the phone down. Stop and make eye contact with your children and tell them you love them. There you go. That's today's little bit of advice.
Yeah.
Yep.
No, but I mean, really,
simple things, people. Simple
plastic,
things.
The plastic box thing I've been doing for years. It works out fine. And I buy stuff that's a little bit more extravagant or exotic. We almost, like a lot of stuff underneath the tree is firearm related. So, you know, you guys know how hard it is to get that stuff. And over the past couple of years, it's been even more difficult with stuff going out of stock and things like that. So it's just a little idea. It's not me trying to tell you how to live your life or saying I'm better or anything else like that. But
There
yeah,
you go.
I don't want to be there, you know, having the guy tell me it's out of stock. They haven't had them for months because everybody bought them up. Or I don't like to go to the stores and fight the crowds. If you're running out of ideas or you forgot something, go get a gift card. Seriously, just go to the gas station, get a gift card, something like that. But for some of the other stuff, when you want somebody to open up an ammo can and it's full of ammo, and you're like, "Look, man, I ain't got $600 in November to buy them." You know, you pick up a couple boxes every month, and by November you've got, and then you go to the surplus store, buy an ammo can, gift wrap it in a camouflage wrapping paper, and you're good to
Absolutely. Yeah, or elfinflage. You can wrap it in elfinflage. So there you go. There you go. Actually, that is camouflage wrapping paper, isn't it? All right, guys, we're going to go and wrap it up. It's been a fun discussion. It's been a real discussion today. So I want to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate everybody hanging out. Happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas, whatever you celebrate. Enjoy this weekend and have a great time. Tommy Gunn just says Ruger American in 7.62x39. Everybody should own one of those. That is a fantastic bolt action rifle. I love mine. It's a blast to take to the range. You can hunt with it. It's a great caliber. It's very accurate. It just keeps on shooting, and it's cheap to shoot. What's that, Squibby?
I said get a nice loophole scope for it.
Oh, there you go. Go on over to familyfirearms.com and don't pay sales tax and get a better than retail price.
Yeah.
Just put that one in your head. Try by mind tricks, people. All right, so we're going to go ahead and Ozzy Osbourne says, I'm going to do my normal weekly grocery shopping. That's it. Stay out of Costco, brother. Stay out of Costco. That's all I got to say for today. All right, so this has been a Caliber Corner Season 5, episode number 262. Join us for 263 next Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Central Time for another gun chat. We're going to take a look at the new guns coming out in 2023. I found an awesome article that features a lot of cool firearms that are coming out. So instead of me making a video where I just basically interpret what's coming out, talk about it, we're going to talk about it and see what's coming out and see if there's anything out there that interests us, because every year it's the same thing. It's more of the same stuff. Oh, it's in a different color. Oh, whatever. So we're going to see if there's anything new. And if not, well, that's going to look like our 2023. But between now and then, I guarantee you something new is going to get introduced this week that's going to totally, get your attention, because that's how it runs up until the point that we go to SHOT Show. So that's it. All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Have fun. Be safe. Take care, everybody. Everybody in the YouTube chat, take care. I miss you guys. And we will talk to you soon. All right.